Hi YouTube. Um, I was told that I should go ahead and get this one out the way. I should have done this one earlier. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, like really about me, with the sickle cell, a little bit more detail. Okay, you have to excuse me. I'm kind of scatterbrained today because I still don't feel good, but I'm alright. Um, okay, sickle cell I have sickle cell anemia. Now, I have when I was born, they thought that I had. You have to excuse my beautiful patch right here. I slept on the couch wrong, and my neck is hurting. And this is a pain patch. It's a lidoderm patch, and it's supposed to help. It helps my lower back. But it ain't doing nothing for this crick of my neck. But I'm gonna leave it there a little while longer. So just kind of pretend like you don't see that. But when I was born, they said that I had sickle sickle thalassemia, which is another version of sickle cell. It's kind of like not mild but not severe, sort of like in the middle. But as I started to get older and the more problems that I started having, it was said that I'm just full out. They found out that I was just full out sickle cell, because I was having too many problems for me to just have, be just mild. I was like severe problems for such a young age. So when I say severe problems, I guess this is where I can kind of tell you a little bit about me. Let's see. The very first problem that I had was, mm, well, I can't say the very first. I'll say the very first major problem that I had. I had to get my spleen, appendix, and my gallbladder removed, and I was only 12. My spleen, yeah, my spleen was the size. If you hold your fist like this, you see this? I'm little, so don't mind my little bitty fist. But as a 12-year-old, and even as a 30-year-old, your spleen is supposed to be the size of your fist. Not my face, I'm sorry. Your spleen is supposed to be the size of your fist. And for some of you all who might know what Nerf footballs are, my spleen was the size of a Nerf football. If I would have gotten hit, kicked, punched, fell, or have fallen, I would have ruptured my spleen and I could have died. Incident one. So while they were in there, they went on ahead and took out my appendix and my gallbladder, because sickle cell patients have a tendency to get gallstones and a lot of gallbladder, gallstones, and my gallbladder and my spleen and appendix. Oh, and appendicitis. My appendix, my spleen, and my gallbladder. So yeah, so those three things, they just went on, those two extras they just took out while they were in there to kind of stop a problem before it started. Sickle cell. Before I go, let me kind of explain to some of you who aren't quite really familiar. Sickle cell, I was born with it. Both my parents have the trait. Um, 2 million people in America carry the S gene. 70,000 of us have the disease itself. Um, Both of your parents have to have the disease, or it's a chance that one of your parents could have the disease and one of your parents could have the trait. You could still, you're still going to come out. You have I think it was a 25% chance of coming out with the disease. I have two little girls. My husband doesn't have anything. His blood is clean, so neither one of my girls have the disease. Both of them have the trait. They'll never know what it is, what it's like to be me. And I had enough knowledge about myself and the disease as a young child to know that as I got older, before I shouldn't be having just random sex, or, unprotected sex rather, because if I had a baby with someone who wasn't sure about themselves, or if I wasn't sure what their background was, my child would have had sickle cell, and there was no possible way on earth that I could have put my child through the pain that I have to go through, and the pain now that I know that my parents had to deal with dealing with me as a child, and even now still getting sick. I'm still their baby. Well, my mom anyway. We'll talk about that later with my dad. But it is. It's hard, and I had enough knowledge then and now to know that that wasn't something that I needed to do. So he got his blood drawn when we met, and we got checked out and everything, and he knew that it was okay, and that was another reason. I knew I was supposed to be with him, and he was wonderful and all that other good stuff. But yeah, it hurts now. That's how I got it. It's not contagious. I can't sneeze on you. You know, you can drink after me, all of that other stuff outside of getting germs. It, excuse me, it's not contagious. I was born with it. It causes pain. My red blood cells, everyone has red blood cells. Obviously, it carries the oxygen through your blood, through your system. Normal red blood cells are round. The majority of my cells are sickled, and we'll say they look like a crescent moon or a banana. Sorry, my foot was itching. The laptop had to kind of move, but this thing is being retarded. But it was that's what they look like. If I get dehydrated, if I am cold, if I'm not bundled up when it's cold outside, if it's too hot outside and I don't drink enough fluids, it slows down the flowing, the blood flow, and it then causes pain. They don't go straight like a round blood cell, like a round blood cell, and because they're sickled, they get, excuse me, my hair is tickling my ear. When they get to flowing and I have and it starts to cause a problem, it's painful, and it is the worst feeling that you could imagine. I mean, I don't think I would want you to imagine what it feels like. And all of the knowledge and all of the medicine can't cure it. It's a few things out there. One something out there that is supposed to be able to cure it, but I'm too old for it. We'll talk about that later. That's a flat out bone marrow transplant. But but just me and my sickle cell in general, it's me. I'm stuck with it. I'm going to die with it. Um, but so that's kind of a little bit behind what sickle cell is. Um, the pain that it causes is un, is unthinkable. Um, but through my childhood, I had so many small pains that I had big pains too. The small pains, ended up making a lot of the big things happen. So after I got my spleen and appendix and gallbladder taken out at 12, the next major thing, surgery-wise, I started getting ports. I don't remember exactly what age I was when I started getting my ports, but a port is this thing that they put up under your skin, and it's where they can give you an IV without sticking your veins all the time, because my veins are bad. You can't really see. If you could kind of, I don't know if you can see that. You can't. You can't. And I'm not going to start pulling up my body, my shirt, and start showing you my body parts. But my arms look like track marks. My veins look like track marks because I've had so many IVs throughout my life that my veins don't take it anymore. So I started getting ports, and after I started getting, that's a major surgery too. Then I ended up having to get my lungs drained. A tooth infection. I got a tooth infection. Something as small as a tooth infection can cause something as big as having to have major surgery and almost dying because my lung was so full of pus that I couldn't breathe anymore. And the hospital kept telling me that I just had pneumonia. And until the last time that I went, I sat at home for a month like that in pain where I couldn't breathe, I couldn't move. Thank goodness I didn't have kids then. But it was painful. And when I finally went back in, they checked, and it was said that I had a lung infection from a tooth. I had so much pus that they initially tried to drain my lungs, and that didn't work. So they actually had to go in and cut me open and scrape off my lung, clean my lung off, because it was that full of pus. But it came from a small tooth infection. So something that my immune system, without having a spleen, I don't have an immune system. My immune system is shot like a baby's. So I can catch anything from anybody at any point in time real easy. So I had to get my lungs drained. I almost died then. Incident number two. Then I had to I had to have a hip replacement. I walked around for a year with my hip deteriorating. No one believed me when I told them that I was in so much pain that I couldn't cross my legs or I couldn't bend over to tie my shoe. It was that bad. But, you know, after that year, they did a core decompression and that didn't work. So then I ended up having to just get a full out hip replacement. So at 19 now, I'm only 19 now. I got my lungs drained at like, I think I was like 18 maybe. I think it had to be like 18. But then, so now at 19, I'm having a full hip replacement. Then I find out a year later that I have to have both shoulders and my other hip replaced. So those are the major things that have happened to me so far. We're not going to get into all of the itty bitty things that have happened. You couldn't imagine all of the time, just in general. All of the hospitals, all of the different stays, all of the tests. So those are kind of the things that go along with having sickle cell. Um, I've kind of gone past my 10-minute limit that I gave myself. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I kind of just wanted to give you guys kind of a peek inside of what it's like to be me with sickle cell and the pains that I have, or the major pains that I have with my illness. But I'm still here, I'm still smiling. I still believe that I'm cute as ever, and I love myself totally, and my family, and my life, and all of that other good stuff. Um, I have sickle cell. Sickle cell doesn't have me. It's a part of my life, but it is not my life. It will not consume me. It will not take over me. And I love me. I love sickle cell and me. Bye.